So pseudocode. Pseudo is a prefix. It means kind of fake or almost. So pseudocode is fake code or almost code. It's not anything that the computer can understand. It's more for the programmer, right? For the people. You use it to figure out the logic, define the problem, put the problem into words. That's step one of the problem solving or the design process, right, from last year. Step one, define the problem, put it into words. So pseudocode is part of step one, can also be part of step two and step three. You use it to help figure out the logic. What has to happen in what order? Assignment one from the code.org is about sequencing. You have to put the steps in the correct order. That's all computers do, is follow directions in order. You can think of breaking down this problem into complex behaviors. A complex behavior would be for like the code.org puzzles, right? The directions. It tells you what you need to do. That's the complex behavior. So kind of a task description. What is the task that you have to do? That's a complex behavior. You break that down into simple behaviors. And the complex behavior, the simple behaviors, that's part of the pseudocode. So you take the complex behavior and then you break it into chunks. Okay, well, to complete this task, what are the chunks? When we're in class and we're doing this, I use the example of going from the IT room to the office, right? So complex behavior is have to get from the IT room to the main office. Break it down into simple behaviors. So you go out the door, IT room door, turn right, go down the hall, turn left, down the hall, turn right, down the hall to the office door, turn left, right? That's the simple behavior. It's broken down now into chunks. Final part of that are called basic behaviors. And this would be the actual commands. So you use pseudocode to kind of figure out the order that things need to go. Then you take those smaller chunks of your simple behaviors and you break those and say, okay, what specific commands do I have to give to the computer for the program to make it happen? To take the smaller chunks of getting to the office, it would need to be 5 steps out the IT door. Turn right 90 degrees. Can't just say turn right because that's not specific enough. Computers can only follow exact directions. Turn right 90 degrees. Go forward 80 feet or 62 steps, whatever, right? Turn left 90 degrees. Forward, it has to be very specific. So when you're trying to figure out your program, you can use this now to think about even when you're doing your code.org stuff. So for example, there will be either a flower or a honeycomb under each of these clouds. Collect nectar once if there is a flower, otherwise make honey once. Those are the directions. That's the complex behavior. So now break it down. So you're the bee, so you're gonna go here, okay? So what would we have to do here? Let's break this down, either a flower or a honeycomb. Collect nectar once if there's a flower, otherwise make honey once. So what does this bee have to do first?
Get to the cloud, moving forward.
Forward. Okay, when it gets to the cloud, now what?
Turn right.
Turn right, now what?
Collect the honey or flower.
Collect the nectar if it's a flower, but if it's not a flower, right, there's a question mark there, so we don't know. You won't know until you get there, right? Right? If you knew what it was, then you could say collect nectar or make the honey, but you don't know. So what does it have to do? There's a key word in here. You have to make the program make a decision here, right? This is called a conditional. If, right? It has to check. So when it gets there, if flower, then what? If flower,
Collect the nectar.
Yes, get the nectar. If it's not a flower, then it's going to be a honeycomb. If honeycomb, what do you do if it's honeycomb?
Make honey once.
Make honey. Or you could say even get one nectar, because it does tell us make one honey. Now what does it do? So it's gone forward, turned right. We've taken care of this one now. So now that it's turned right, now what does it have to do?
Move forward.
Go forward and then
Collect it.
collect, right? If flower, get one nectar. If honeycomb, make one. And also turn right. Hey, it's doing this again, isn't it? It's doing these 4 steps again.
You can use your repeat block.
So it's repeating. Yeah, okay. So it'll do it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Okay, so do 4 times. Forward, turn right. If it's flower, get one right. Okay. So that's not the code that it can use, but we figured out the logic. Now all you do is you come in and you put the code. Repeat 4 times. So we have to have another repeat here, right? Because it's not just going forward. It's 1, 2, 3. When I did this, I put the turn right afterwards instead. After you move forward, you know you're going to be either at a flower or a honeycomb. So you can use, this is called an if-else. You can use that when you have 2 choices of what to do. If it's a flower, you're going to get nectar. Else, meaning if it's not a flower, then it has to be the honeycomb. So make the honey. And then turn right, a repeat block. You kind of think of this as flowing this way. It does the move forward, and then it comes back up here and it asks a question. Have I done it 3 times? No. Do it again. Have I done it 3 times? No. Do it again. Have I done it 3 times? Yes. Then it goes down to the next. If at a flower, do get nectar, else make honey. Comes here. Have I done this? Yes. Then it comes here, turn right. Then it would come here, so you would repeat 4 times. So you start there. Have I done this 4 times? No. Repeat 3 times. Have I moved forward 3? No, 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 yes. If at a flower, turn right. Have I done it 4 times? No. Right? So that's kind of how you think of those, how they work. Because you have to understand that to know, because sometimes like this turn right has to be outside of a certain repeat or something. Otherwise, it's repeating the turning and you don't want it to repeat. It just depends on the puzzle. So you got to kind of understand how those go. But what we're looking at here today, right? So how did we figure it out? Take your complex behavior, your directions. If you think through, what does it mean looking at the puzzle? Right? Okay, well, he has to go forward. And we could have said, go forward 3. So you take the complex behavior, turn it into simple behavior, which is your pseudocode. And then from that, you figure out, okay, so what commands do I need to make this happen? Then you come in and you do your basic. If you do decide to do one of the other code activities, it's going to ask you, you're going to do this pseudocode like this as you do the level. So if this were the one you were doing, right, you would take this, it says take a screenshot of your code, you'd put that in, and then on another part of the slide, you would put the pseudocode. So here you would have your, I don't know, do 4 times, and maybe you figured out, oh, I got to forward 3, if flower, nectar, right? And so you'd put that in. So that's one of the things. right? So that's going to help you, because as you go into those other levels and do those other things, right, it gets a little bit more complicated, the puzzles and figuring out the logic and stuff. And so this can help you. This would be doing your pseudocode would be step 3 of the design process, which is design a solution. Step 4 would be your code, build and test. Step 5 is when you hit run. You know, if you only do a little bit of the code and then you hit run, that's testing it, right? But when you get all your code and you think you got it, then you press run and you see, does it do everything? Another thing for step 5 would be supposed to be able to do it in 8 blocks. Did you do it with only 8 blocks? If you did it with more, yeah, the solution works, but if doing it with only the number that they give you is the criteria, then you didn't meet the criteria. So that's pseudocode. That's how it can help you.